Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. Get ready for a deep dive into one of the most shocking stories in sports history. It's the night when NASCAR titan Tony Stewart had a deadly confrontation with Kevin Ward Jr. at the Canandaigua Speedway in upstate New York.
Tony Stewart just hit that guy! Holy shit!
The incident shocked the racing community and raised some burning questions that continue to produce smoke 10 years later. Hear the answers today on Death in Entertainment.
Live from Los Angeles.
911, what is your emergency?
Here in Hollywood now.
2 counts of murder,
Injury and death.
Oh my God!
Shocking new details
that has stunned the entertainment world.
This makes me a little nervous.
The hair stood up on my arms.
Just like in the movies.
What do you call this thing anyway?
Death
In entertainment.
Greetings, Deado Universe.
Hi.
What's going on? How are you this week?
That's good.
Very good.
Great to hear.
We're fine.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? My name's Kyle Ploof.
I'm a little lonely. I lost my dog. I can't find my dog.
And that is the great Ben Kissel joining us in studio yet again.
Yes, tied up in the corner.
Thank you for having me. Let me out of here.
And I'm Alejandro Dowling, and you ain't going nowhere, Ben.
Oh,
You are stuck with us for the next hour or so.
I'm
Yes.
fine here then.
We are going over the crazy story of Mr. Tony Stewart.
Yeah, this is a crazy story because it's got everything. It's got drama. It's got intrigue.
It's got cars. It's got family.
Yeah,
Nice. Sounds like a new Pixar movie.
except with murder
Oh, okay.
on the racetrack.
Ooh. And just to remind everybody, we are a true crime comedy podcast, so we'll be having some laughs. If that's not for you, then go watch another race.
Of people?
Yes.
Okay.
If that ain't your bag, then put on the brakes and get out of here.
Hey, I like that even better.
Nice.
And without further ado, let's get into it.
Okay, Mr. Tony Stewart. This is a legend
Yeah.
in multiple racing worlds. He came from the IndyCar world, and then he dominated NASCAR. Started out in go-karts.
No kidding.
Oh, so did we all.
Yeah. IndyCar, of course, horrible. I want to make a joke about indie music, but I don't know how to make that joke, so just insert it there if you're smarter than me. IndyCar, they must listen to strange things. There you go.
He was born in Columbus, Indiana in 1971. Michael Jackson, also from Indiana.
Gary.
Yeah.
Anything?
It's just...
That's just a fact.
yeah.
I don't know what to do with that.
He was not a maker of indie music.
Okay. Oh, you put the joke in yourself on your script.
Mainstream.
Okay, good for you.
But he did screw a kid named Gary.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
There it is.
Back to Tony Stewart. Won his first championship in 1980. Go-karts, that is.
Okay.
There are go-kart championships. I need to bet on this.
Well, he was 9 years old.
There's,
true.
There's a sport for everything, Kyle, and it's all being televised. I was shocked when they started televising the cornhole championships.
And I'm still pissed. I know people have heard me say this before, but during COVID, BattleBots should have been everywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
We got totally screwed.
Shout out to Pat Barker, writer of BattleBots.
Yeah.
All right. Got that out there.
Yes.
And flag football we were talking about earlier. That's about to hit the waves.
It's going to be in the Olympics.
So Tony Stewart, after he conquers the world of go-karts, he goes on to midget racing.
Whoa, hey, pal.
And yes, you heard me correctly.
Yeah.
There is no other way to say this. This is what it's called.
Okay.
They're small cars with a high power to weight ratio.
Okay. All right.
And it's literally called a midget car.
All right.
And then he became a member of the National Midget Racing Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow. That's what an accolade that is. You get a tiny jacket. Kind of nice.
So he's the...
I actually think dwarf car is cooler.
That's way cooler.
I like that
All
more.
right. All right.
We will say dwarf car.
Yes, we love all of the folks of all sizes listening to any of our shows.
Tony Stewart is the Hervé Villachet of... Never mind. So then he went on to the U.S. Auto Club.
Okay.
He keeps moving on up to the next tier, and that's the Auto Club. And he was named Rookie of the Year in 1991.
Okay, so at 20. I'm doing the math really well on the ages here.
71, 91, you're correct.
All right.
And incidentally, 2 years before the movie Rookie of the Year hit theaters.
Well, that was about baseball, though.
It was, but...
And that's where the term funky butt lovin' took over the 90s.
Say funky butt lovin'?
And that's a great movie.
I love it.
Chicago, you know.
The Cubs, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1995, Tony Stewart won the Triple Crown. So he won the National Midget Championship, the Sprint and Silver Crown divisions. So he conquered all three of those divisions.
All right.
And I don't believe many people have done that.
Must be very difficult.
I would imagine, because there's a lot of competition out there.
Right.
And you got to stay alive.
Yeah.
By the late 1990s, he moved on to IndyCar racing. And he got to start in pole position. Now, do you know what the pole position is?
Not outside of Florida. I don't.
Pole position at his first Indianapolis 500.
Usually with your thighs, and you can kind of lean backwards, go upside down.
Close. It's where you have really good starting point in the race.
Gotcha.
So he's inside front. And how did he get so good a placement? Well, his teammate Scott Brayton crashed into a wall during practice days earlier, and he hit the wall at 230 miles per hour and died instantly.
What? Just cut to Tony Stewart buttering the track. I'm getting the pole position. That is so sad, though. He died in practice?
Yeah, so Scott Brayton died so Tony Stewart could
live.
race.
And then evidently killed at some point, from what I'm understanding.
Wow.
And this is not the first death connected to Tony Stewart.
Yeah.
He's kind of like the Hillary Clinton of the NASCAR world.
Okay. All right.
I'm just kidding. Anyway,
No, hot take.
She's not a murderer, okay?
No.
Bill, though. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Who knows?
So Tony Stewart would go on to drive in the Indy 500 5 times. And his career best was 5th place in 1997, which surprised me. You think he would have won it at some point.
I think it's really hard to do.
I guess there's a lot of cars in that race.
Yeah.
And that is, of course, that's like the Oscars of the Indy car.
So he was nominated.
Yes.
That's what it's known as.
Exactly. I know. Well, for our...
Well, they give each other crowns. I mean, it's all bullshit. It's all about awards at the end of the day.
For those out there that don't know this world and have no idea what any of this stuff means, I'm trying to relate.
Yeah.
Right.
Make it understandable. And then, of course, in NASCAR, it is the Daytona 500.
Right.
That's the big race in NASCAR. And that is the next tier up.
Okay.
And that's where Tony's heading.
Oh.
And then I did a little research because I was trying to think, like, what is the big difference between IndyCar and NASCAR?
Right.
Because I guess there is. Well, NASCAR, they have slower cars because the vehicles weigh more.
Okay.
About 3,000 pounds. And they can go up to speeds of 200 miles per hour.
That's it? In NASCAR, that's it?
That's it.
Huh.
Yeah, it's slow as far as race cars go.
Right.
And then in IndyCar, it's about 1,400 pounds versus the 3,000 pounds, so about half.
Yeah, they're like a canoe right above the ground with like 4 wheels.
Yeah, they call it the open wheel.
Oh, okay.
They look like Tinker Toys or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, they go a lot faster. So some could argue that it's more exciting, but who knows?
Right.
So Tony Stewart's NASCAR career began with a whoosh in 1999 when he qualified and competed in his first Daytona 500.
Okay.
And he went head-to-head with the Dale Earnhardt Sr. in a dual race prior to the main event. Earnhardt won that race and went on to place second in the Daytona 500 to Jeff Gordon.
Wow.
And Stewart was in 28th place because he ran into some car trouble.
Now, I remember Jeff Gordon. People didn't like him at all. I think he had the Tide car. Wasn't it Tide?
Yeah.
The rainbow car.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought he was a fancy boy. And he got shat on quite a bit by NASCAR loyalists.
Really? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. I would say that Jeff Gordon is, John Denver. He's the John Denver of racing, where it's like, yeah, the country, technically saying country, but he was a little bit preppy.
Or when Garth Brooks went on to make that
Chris
pop out.
Gaines.
Yes, Chris Gaines.
Yes, of course. And I don't like Garth Brooks, but I love Gaines. I've always been a Chris Gaines fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon had the DuPont
DuPont.
car, but it was still a rainbow car, and he had like the rainbow tracksuit and everything on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see why a bunch of rat tails and mullets would not like that.
Could be.
Mr. DuPont.
It is very
Hoity-toity.
Indeed.
Yeah.
They've ruined the world, by the way.
The DuPonts?
Yeah.
Oh.
Chemical weapons.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, right up there with the Koch brothers
Mm.
and Dick Cheney.
Okay.
I'm just naming.
We're getting political today.
War criminals.
You should have checked out the political show on the bench.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Ben and Kyle's political show. Where can they find that?
Just on the internet.
Okay, cool. That was enough.
Yeah. It's out there.
See, I have a skewed perception of Jeff Gordon, though, because in 4th grade, my teacher was absolutely obsessed with him.
Oh, no, people loved him. He was by far the most popular, but that's naturally why a lot of beer gut dudes were like,
Right.
oh, fuck him, man. My wife thinks he's the hottest.
He was
But
the heartthrob. Yeah.
He was the heartthrob.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, easy target.
Sure.
So, yeah, Jeff Gordon won that race. Stewart was 28th. Listen to this. Years later, Stewart would get a little revenge by bumping Gordon's car at the Bristol Motor Speedway on purpose.
Whoa.
And he was fined for that.
Wow.
Even though he didn't win at first in NASCAR, people took note. They were very impressed by his performance.
Yeah.
He was this obviously very talented driver and had the drive. You could tell this guy is going to be one of the top people.
Absolutely.
Because, like I said, he was already going head to head with the greats.
And this is sort of peak NASCAR. Don't forget Days of Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this was like when NASCAR was really starting to pop off. It was on TV every Sunday. I know it still is, but it was a big event.
And it's actually incredible how, for instance, at one point in the race, Stewart had been first. And it's just by happenstance, like gust of wind or slightly wrong, movement on the wheel. And suddenly he's 10th.
Right.
Like there's so little that could happen to just alter the course of who wins this thing.
I mean, it's all about the pit crew. It's all
True.
about the pit crew. They don't get any credit, but if they mess up, you're done.
Oh, I saw one of the most horrifying videos. There was like a different type of gas that they used in the 80s or something, or like some sort of booster or something that leaked. And the entire pit crew and the driver were on fire, but the type of gas it was, you can't see the flames. So they were running around just being like, ah!
Oh my God.
And no one knew what was going on.
And was their skin melting with it?
Like the clothes were like crisping up and everything, and they're just screaming, running around. They got it out. I don't think anyone died, but it was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen, where people were like laughing, thinking they were just fucking around.
That sounds like a special effect from Hollow Man.
Yeah, literally.
Exactly. Sounds like Tommy Boy, Chris Farley, David Spade. Bees! We're getting stung by bees. I'm allergic to bees. Let's get out of here.
I have a weird question. Would you rather see someone really on fire or with the invisible fire?
I want to see the fire.
I don't know, man. I've seen them both. That Tibetan monk and the pit crew that was invisibly lighting up. I don't know. It was a little bit more comical with the other guys.
But you don't know where to put it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
You could lie to look like a hero, be like, hey, I got water here. And you just mime it. All right, so let's go to February 2001.
Okay.
The Daytona 500 is always in February every year.
Right.
So it starts off the year, but it's also the biggest event of the year in NASCAR.
Well, especially in 2001. Definitely the biggest event of that year.
Oh, well, yeah. So Stewart was involved in an 18-car crash on lap 173, and he took the worst of it.
Oof.
He was basically like patient zero in this thing. And miraculously, very minor injuries, like a cut lip, some bruises. But his car flipped over and was thrown side to side. And
Jeez.
And yeah, and then there's 17 other cars that are just, all going in every which way.
Right.
And so no major injuries there. And this happened on what they call the straightaway, where there's no turns. So,
Well, how did it happen?
it's one of those weird things I was just talking about in racing.
Yeah.
Just for whatever reason, lost control of the vehicle. So, yeah, I guess a guy named Ward Burton had hit him, and then that pushed over this guy, Robbie Gordon, and they flipped twice in midair. And
Jesus.
it just was a domino effect after that.
That sounds like hullabaloo.
and then it stopped and the race continued. Stewart was transported to Halifax Medical Center after he was saying that his shoulder hurt. Meanwhile, back on the track, Dale Earnhardt crashed into the outside wall head on during his last lap.
That's his last lap?
Last lap.
Oh, my God.
Is this the fatal one?
Well, spoiler alert.
Sorry.
Yes.
Oh, damn. So that was a cursed race.
Yeah. Michael Waltrip ended up coming in first, and guess who came in second? Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Wow.
At the hospital, the staff accidentally wheeled Tony Stewart into Earnhardt's room.
Oh.
And Stewart was horrified to see his condition. He said that he didn't give too many details when he talked about it, but he said that it was obvious that it was not gonna.
He wasn't coming back.
Yeah, it wasn't gonna end.
He wasn't going to race again. Oh, that's horrible.
It's so crazy because I remember watching the clip somewhat recently, and it does not look fatal. It's just
No.
he kind of like bumps into the wall and is just gone.
That's what everyone said, because in comparison to this first crash that happened in the race, that one looked fatal.
Right.
It looked like it would have had multiple fatalities.
Yeah.
And Dale Earnhardt, every time you see the clip, you expect to see him walk out.
Yeah.
Right. Especially the legend of Earnhardt. I mean, everyone just thought he could survive, hell and back.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just so fast, so quick, head on, boom.
Right.
His cause of death was listed as skull fracture.
Jeez.
And he was pronounced dead that same evening. He was 49 years old. And I noticed that Dale Earnhardt Jr. is currently 49 years old.
Wow.
So,
What does that mean?
well,
He looks so much younger. It's so weird, like the
yeah.
dudes in the 90s and 80s that just looked 75.
It's the mustache. It's
Yeah.
the mustache and the smoking.
Yeah.
Really makes you look older.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rod Beck, Chicago closer. He was 29 when he looked like that.
You're not going to tell me that's not, dude. That is that's Powers. That's Kenny Powers.
That is Kenny Beck.
That's Kenny Powers.
29 years old, though, and that's what he looked like. It's so crazy.
All about the mustache.
Yeah. And we talked about that on the Jack Nance episode.
Yeah.
We were shocked to find out he was 50 during Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Because he looked like he was 80.
Right.
After the death of Dale Earnhardt, which was a complete shock to the world.
I remember that. That was horrible.
Because he was the face of NASCAR. It was him and Jeff Gordon.
And in my hometown of Stevens Point, Wisconsin, his jackets were everywhere. Like, he was very, very famous.
I would compare it to Los Angeles when Kobe Bryant died.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a sense. So shocking.
And after his death, NASCAR implemented a lot of new safety measures.
We got a new measure here. It's called Don't Die.
Such as wear your seatbelt.
Wear your seatbelt.
Well, they mandated this head and neck support device where you have to wear that now. And Earnhardt actually hated wearing that thing because he thought it was uncomfortable. But now he would have had to.
Right.
That was obviously a disturbing day for Tony Stewart because he was, look at the implications there.
Right.
He could have been killed too.
Absolutely.
And not only that, he spends what probably were the last moments of Dale Earnhardt's moments. If he even, I guess he might have still been somewhat alive. I don't know.
Who knows? I mean, obviously he wasn't doing well. Do you think? I mean, he loved racing. Obviously, Dale Earnhardt, the whole Earnhardt family.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you're gonna go, it's not you go doing what you love.
Yeah, the old cliche.
I don't know. It's very sad. We're all gonna die.
Uh-huh.
So gonna bring that up now.
Not me, though.
No, of course not.
Tony Stewart recovered and he went on to NASCAR fame. In November 2002, he won his first Winston Cup championship, and he went on to win another 3 times.
And everyone knows, much like the Marlboro Bucks, you get a free canoe.
Yeah.
If you win the Winston Cup.
Is that true?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
I bought it.
A jacket. And then if you get enough Marlboro Bucks, your son actually calls you back. Yeah, it's really weird. It's 50,000 Marlboro Bucks, and it's like you get a new relationship with the kid you abandoned.
And for 100 of those, you get another kid.
That's fantastic.
Like a random kid.
And then you got to get all those bucks back so they like you.
Wait, didn't you have a weird story with Marlboro something?
Oh, my dad would smoke 3 packs a day, and we got the best sleeping bags you've ever gotten in your life.
I love that.
Marlboro sleeping bags. Oh my God, they're better than anything you can find anywhere. I had T-shirts, Marlboro hats.
The idea that he would present you like they were toys,
and I would go to school in them.
I love it.
And I would smell like smoke, and my teachers would like complain. And I'd be in a Marlboro hat and T-shirt being like, I don't smoke. They're like, but you reek like cigarettes. I'm like, I swear to God, I don't smoke.
You're wrapped like a cigarette package. Well,
what makes you think I smoke? Because I smell like it and wear the Marlboro shirt?
Yeah, exactly.
So he's winning a lot and becoming a big star in the NASCAR world. And Tony Stewart is also getting the reputation of being kind of an asshole.
Oh.
He, for the rest of his career, he had a reputation as being a hothead. He would get into fights with hecklers.
Okay.
And with fellow drivers.
Like, what are the heckler? Like, you're not driving fast enough.
If you can hear a heckler over your car, then your car sucks.
Right.
Well, maybe when he got out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
In August 2002, he was fined $10,000 and placed on probation for the rest of the season after hitting a photographer following a race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Huh.
And then he announced that he was going to undergo anger management counseling.
All right.
I don't think that worked so well.
I don't know what it is.
It's the mental midget.
There you
Going
go.
back to the midget.
yeah.
Mental midget car.
There you
I don't
go.
know.
There. Really hitting that home.
In 2013, Stewart had a fight with another driver, and he wasn't fined this time, but it got a lot of media attention.
Okay.
Would you like to see it?
Sure.
And boy, Tony Stewart is after Logano. Well, I did see some punches thrown today. You can't say they're just pushing.
Oh, they're going after each other.
Well, Tony, what angered you at the end of the race? What did you take issue with?
What the hell do you think I was mad about? Dumb little runs us clear down to the infield. He wants to about everybody else, and he's the one that drives like a little. I'm gonna bust his ass.
Thanks, Tony.
Uh-oh. Sounds like it's about to get sexual.
I'm going to bust his ass.
All right, Tony.
They later made up.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
They busted on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing good like makeup busting on ass.
Hey. Yeah, he was really attacking that guy.
I mean, kind of. Did he land any punches?
No.
He was throwing them, but I don't think anyone was getting hit by him.
No.
Yeah. I think he's one of those guys who he wants his brand to be the hothead. So, like, he'll
Right.
try and, wrestle around a little bit, but he doesn't really want to fight anybody.
Come on. You got to connect on a couple.
And he'll say anything. He'll shock you. He'll be sarcastic.
Right.
I'm going to bust his ass.
I won the go-kart competition when I was 9.
Imagine him as a 9-year-old.
I wouldn't want to.
He probably kicked and bit and spit.
I don't know what you're...
like a wild kid.
I got you.
Yeah,
Who
dirty
needs
fighter.
Yeah, who needs Ritalin?
Uh-huh.
So he thought that Logano had blocked him. And,
Right. It happens all the time.
Yeah, it's racing.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has to be behind.
So Tony Stewart is really one of the most successful drivers in history. He's made over $130 million in prize money.
All right.
Wow.
Not even net worth. That's the prize money.
Got you.
He's number 4 on the richest driver list. Number 1 is Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Oh.
Wow.
I actually thought that would be Jeff Gordon, to be honest.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I
I
figured.
mean, he was around for so long and had so many deals and was so good. He won all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was the face of the sport for 15 years.
Yeah. And then Stewart had about every accolade you could get in racing. And I think he's the only guy in history to win championships in both IndyCar and NASCAR.
Okay.
But was that enough for him?
Ooh, that's the question.
Interesting.
Was he fulfilled just doing that?
I don't know.
I think not.
All right.
Oh.
Sometimes you got to go off Broadway.
All right.
You know what I mean?
love these NASCAR entertainment awards show comparisons.
Right. Yeah, we got to go off Broadway.
Patty LuPone doesn't always
Yeah.
want to be on Broadway. Sometimes she wants to go to that weird little theater.
That's right,
down
honey.
the street and do some obscure play.
Yeah.
Yes, Patty LuPone. LuPone?
LuPone.
LuPone, a household name.
This is for the NASCAR fans.
Yeah.
Of course.
So there's this thing called sprint car racing, and it's done on dirt tracks. They don't need no asphalt.
Hey.
All right.
And sprint cars are extremely fast. They have massive engine power, 500 to 900 horsepower. And there's an aluminum wing that sits on top to keep the vehicle down on the track.
Got you. I know what that looks like now.
The
yeah.
wings keep them down?
Yeah, can you get a picture of one?
Yeah.
Just to show you what this is like.
Yeah.
What's the name of it?
A sprint car. And they also accelerate ungodly fast.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And they're extremely lightweight.
It looks like it'd take off.
Well, no, because it's going the other. It's going down. It's facing down. So the air is keeping it down.
Yep.
You have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
I don't know anything about aerodynamics.
So you can see the appeal of this. Someone like Tony Stewart, he's conquered every other part of the racing world.
Right.
And he's getting bored with the slow NASCARs.
Yeah, 200 miles an hour. Who cares?
And so this is something he can let his hair down on the weekend and have a little fun, get a little dirty.
Okay.
Because of the dirt track.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like a dude going to Thailand for the weekend. That's fine.
Yeah, it sounds like a vacation in the Philippines.
Right.
With some crypto. So in 2013, Tony Stewart was doing his sprint car racing. And he would do it in between bigger races that, with NASCAR.
And his team didn't mind. They were like,
Not at all.
okay.
Because, I guess it was viewed as some sort of, it's kind of like practice.
Okay.
It just improves you as a driver.
Yeah.
So in 2013, he was at the Canandaigua Speedway in upstate New York. And he caused an accident involving 15 cars.
On
just
accident
like
or on purpose?
2001. Except this is on the dirt track. No, this was an accident.
It was an accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he gave a 19-year-old girl a broken back.
Oh.
He didn't give her a broken back.
He said, may I present you with this broken back?
Here, take this.
Right. I don't want it. Dang it. No givesy backsies.
And she said, I want my money back. This thing's broken.
He didn't purposely break a person's back here. It was just an accident.
No, he snapped her like a martial arts flick. Like, no, it was an accident.
Like Bane did to Batman.
Right. Imagine Bane did that to Batman, but unwittingly.
Okay.
He didn't he turned and was like, whoops. Like, sorry. Ruggles was taken to Thompson Hospital in her hometown after sustaining injuries in the accident. Witnesses said that her car hit the wheel of another, which was Stewart's.
Okay.
And went into the air about 20 to 30 feet.
Oh, my.
And then came to a stop about 60 feet later. Oof. A witness said, quote, I have never seen anything this bad in a sprint car race. I don't think, or this many cars being taken out in one wreck.
Wow.
At least Tony Stewart manned up and said he caused the wreck. End quote. Well, You know what fate said? Hold my beer.
Uh-oh.
Because 2014 was even worse.
So fate has a drinking problem.
So we're back at the Canandaigua Motorsports Park, upstate New York.
Beautiful.
August 9th, 2014.
Uh-oh.
The event is the Empire Super Sprint Final. NASCAR racing legend Tony Stewart Nicknamed Smoke, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Okay.
Smoke. You know, because he leaves a trail of smoke on the track.
Got you. Yeah, or rubble or
Sure.
bodies.
Or maybe he likes to smoke cigarettes. I don't know.
We don't know.
And his car is number 14. Also racing that night is a guy named Kevin Ward Jr., and he's in car number 13. The top prize is, are you sitting down?
$10 in gas.
$1,500.
Oh, God.
All right. I mean, that's enough for like half a tire.
That pays for Tony Stewart's lunch.
Yeah.
Right.
And I want to tell you a little bit about this Kevin Ward Jr. He was born on May 23rd, 1994 in Rome, New York.
Oh.
And now, does that place sound familiar to anybody?
It does.
How so, Kyle?
When in Rome, New York.
Yes. Rome, New York, known best for its pineapple pizza.
And also known for throwing festivals where Limp Bizkit breaks stuff.
Oh.
That's where Woodstock 99 took place.
What a nightmare.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
This poor guy, grew up there.
Yeah. What a.
And he was just a little kid when that festival went on.
Yeah.
Right.
The things he probably heard about. So anyway, NASCAR obviously insanely popular worldwide, mainly in the southern states of the U.S., but that's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Wisconsin.
I was going to say, it must have been a Midwest thing.
Oh, Midwest.
Oh, of
pretty
course
popular.
it was.
Yeah.
Was it a Boston thing?
No.
Okay, well, I had to ask.
The coast didn't like it. I would assume Montana, Wyoming, any place that has a lot of land where you could race cars, they probably like it.
Yeah.
Kyle acts like he's above NASCAR.
The whole state of Massachusetts is.
We weren't into net. What were you into?
Professional sports.
Equestrian.
Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox, Bruins.
Okay, cool.
Well.
And Kevin Ward loved racing in what's called the world of the outlaws. All right, so like, you know how there's country music,
right?
Pop country, Garth Brooks, Chris Gaines, all that stuff. Well, outlaw country, it's
I
like,
know it well, yes.
Remember, the outlaw country is the alternative. That's where Patti LuPone goes when she doesn't want to listen to the mainstream.
Right, yeah. I love outlaw country, yeah.
And
the Black Hats.
Yes. He had no ambition, Kevin Ward Jr., no ambition to drive for NASCAR.
Okay.
He did not care about being, a famous driver. He just loved this, the grittiness of these.
I love that.
Yeah, kind of off the dirt track.
Right.
Racing. He would even go to Canada on the weekends to enter some of these races.
Yeah.
And in his free time, he liked fixing cars with his dad and helped him with his industrial painting business.
Exciting.
His dad says, quote, racing in World of Outlaws was his ultimate goal. He liked sliding around in the dirt.
Ooh.
Okay.
And Kevin Ward Jr., by the time he was 19, had 369 racing trophies.
That's a lot of trophies.
Yeah. And
Kevin Ward Jr. did?
Yeah, this guy, this 19-year-old.
29. Yeah, and he's 19, 20 years old. He's got 360.
Yes.
Woo.
And he was a two-time micro sprint championship and named Sprint Car Rookie of the Year.
Wow. So he was on his way up.
He was, yeah, definitely. He was going to be the top outlaw.
Wow.
He was going to be like Jesse James.
Damn.
But you know what? Robert Ford is about to come knocking.
All right.
In the body of Tony Stewart.
There we go. A reference I totally get.
Kyle?
Nope.
Okay. So.
Oh, he's an outlaw.
Forget. Someone out there is going to get this.
Mm-hmm.
At the Adirondack Speedway track, listen to this. Kevin Ward Jr. had the fastest lap ever. 13.5 seconds at 135 miles per hour.
Wow.
So if you were watching that, it would look like this.
135 on a dirt track. That was very educational. Thank you.
Absolutely. Like a whoosh. Yeah.
But that's very fast.
His nickname should have been Dust.
Yeah. That would have been good. He's kicking up dust.
That'd be foreshadowing, though.
Oh,
yeah.
What he gets turned into.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Dust.
Ashes to ashes.
Dust in the wind.
There we go.
With the help of Kevin Ward Sr., Kevin Ward Jr. bought 2 sprint cars for about $120,000 in the spring of 2014.
Okay.
And that brings us to the night in question, August 14th, 2014, months later. So it was a big deal to have Tony Stewart there that night, you know? This is like you're doing community theater.
It's huge.
And Patti LuPone is sitting in the front fucking row.
I was just thinking that. Yep.
It's like Kevin Spacey at the English theater where he took his dick out in front of everybody. Yeah.
The old Vic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's where you show your big old dick.
You want to see the old Vic?
Let me rev it up a little bit.
You like when I show you old Vicky.
Yeah, this is my buddy Smoke, my other buddy Dust. They call me Gas. You want to find out why?
So Kevin Ward Jr. and his buddy had just broken into this division for sprint car racing. Very exciting. And as per usual, his family was up in the grandstands cheering him on that night. He looked at his dad before the race and said, "It's going to be a good night tonight, Pa."
Oh, this is just sad.
I'm laying it on a little thick.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's what an outlaw says last to his spot. It's going to be a good night tonight, Paul.
Oh, don't go out there.
Oh, no.
Don't go out there.
Things be looking up. And in previous races, if he ever spun out or ran into trouble, his mom would run down to make sure he was okay.
Oh.
We're talking a family that's all in.
Right.
And he also cheering him on was his nephew. He had a sister that was about 7 years older, and he absolutely adored his nephew.
So everyone that loved him was there to watch him. Die.
Yes.
Okay.
Whoa.
I don't know. I'm not saying it. The name of the show is Death and Entertainment.
Yeah.
I have a twist.
Okay.
No, actually, I don't. All right, so the race.
That was the twist.
The race commences. They are all speeding along. On lap 13.
Oh, in car 13.
That's right. And unlucky number 13.
Oh, boy.
Yikes.
Now it's all coming together.
I do hate that when hotels don't have the 13th floor. I'm like, Are we really doing this now?
Yeah, you can't fool me.
Come on.
It gives too much power to the myth.
Exactly.
Yeah. So on lap 13, Tony Stewart's car makes contact with Kevin Ward's car. And it causes Ward to hit the wall and spin out. So what happened is Tony Stewart is really close to him and basically clips him.
On purpose or?
Well, that's the speculation. We don't know.
Okay.
And it's called a slide job, where one driver drives across the slick area of the track at a high speed, sideways, sliding his car up just in front of his competition to kind of throw them off. And,
interesting.
Yeah.
The old slide job.
And then get ahead.
We've all had that.
So, yeah, he hits the wall, but it's not a big deal. Kevin Ward is basically out of the race, and the car kind of spins and hits the wall, and, that's it. And so everyone sees this, and a yellow caution flag is thrown out, which means that the other drivers are now warned to go low and slow.
Okay.
And that means don't go to the outer parts of the track. Stay on the inner part of the track, and then we all know what slow means.
Right.
So, not a fast speed. So,
thank you. But honestly, in the world of fast car racing, what is slow? 50 miles an hour?
That's a good question.
Well, it's just something like everybody knows what this means. It means that potentially they could hit someone's car.
Right.
And it could, cause a bad accident. So it's kind of like, let's put this race on hold for a second while we figure this out, while we make the situation safer.
Do they need to come to a stop?
No.
Oh, because it's still a race.
Exactly.
Brings up a good point,
Yeah.
though. So people are probably like, all right, I'll go as fast as I possibly can without pissing anyone off.
It's sort of like when an ambulance passes you on the road and you have to think for a second, how fast do I start driving behind it?
Yeah. Some people are right on that ass.
Yep. If you're a lawyer, anyway.
Yeah.
So it's however much you can get away with.
Exactly.
And then here's the difference, though, between someone like Tony Stewart and then the other weekend warriors, they're called. The kids like Kevin Ward Jr. that
They
are
have
out
day
there.
jobs, they work.
Exactly. But it's also this kind of racing is their life. Like
Right.
Kevin Ward, this is all he wanted to do for racing. They know all the other drivers. So they know how they drive in this. And Tony Stewart has no idea. Like, he just comes in and, has his own rules, basically. So after the collision, Ward gets out of his car and he's pissed. He's seeing red because he thinks that Tony Stewart did that on purpose. And that's not okay. And this is so like in some ways, it's just interesting because I think about it like in some ways you could view it as he's trying to get a little attention for himself, but I don't think it was that. There's this other idea that he actually was incredibly brave and was not afraid to tell Tony Stewart to fuck off.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a dude who wants attention for himself. It sounds like a dude who's just like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't care who's watching, what the cameras say, whatever.
Yeah, he's racing for $1,500 total cash prize in upstate Rome, New York.
And then let's be honest, when some big shot like that comes in, thinking that you're just a little piece of trash.
You're in my fucking house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And he was already spending the $1,500 in his head.
Yeah.
So then he's like, wait a minute, this billionaire comes and deliberately cuts me off? No fucking way.
Right.
So he gets out of his car. This is the part that a lot of people are divided on.
Yeah.
Kevin gets out of his car.
He's in the middle of the track.
Yeah, he runs out.
He runs out.
And he's screaming and pointing.
It's probably not the smartest thing to do.
And he's pointing. And this was actually a common practice at the time, to wave down the driver. And Tony Stewart had done this himself many times. And sometimes you throw a tire at them, you flip them the bird, you make it a show. In the same way, you know how there's fist fights in hockey?
Yeah.
This is how it's viewed in racing.
Okay.
That moment, just like we saw the
I mean,
clip.
how strong are they to throw a tire at someone?
Those tires are insanely big.
I guess so.
They lift the entire car.
Yeah. Damn. You're in the wrong sport, bro.
Yeah, I mean these are strong guys too, they're very fit.
Sure. They are.
They are.
You have to be pretty strong to be able to hold that wheel.
You do.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's not as easy as it looks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't look easy, but
I mean, it looks kind of easy. You just
Does
go
it?
left the whole time. Yeah.
Right. It does look kind of fun, but
to me it looks like instant death.
right.
I like in my first race I would obviously crash and blow up. So I'm not doing that.
All right.
You just hit the gas and it just explodes.
I'm in the Inspector Gadget car.
Yeah.
Nothing can go wrong now.
And Kyle, why don't we watch this clip then of Tony Stewart doing this very same thing
Yeah.
in a recent race?
It is part of the ethic of racing. There's no doubt about it. And you're right. Tony Stewart, regardless of this incident, separate from this incident, has made a career in some ways of having a hot-headed personality. Fans love him for it. It is part of the reason he has made so much money. You got to take a look at this. This is from a few years ago, an incident with Matt Kenseth. He and Tony Stewart get tangled up. Stewart feels that Kenseth knocked him out of a winning position in the race. And what does he do? He walks onto the track.
Oh, I remember
in front
that.
of a car, basically, and throws his helmet at Kenseth.
The inside
you
view.
tell me how close this is.
My buddy in high school, his sister married Matt Kenseth.
Really?
really?
Yep.
Holy shit.
Wow.
That's my inside information on that.
Yeah.
They haven't got over the helmet throwing incident yet.
No? Maybe it was college, either way.
Oh, well.
So as you can see, Stewart had done almost the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
He's looking for attention, though.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to this moment. Ward is just knocked off the track into the wall. He's okay,
Right.
but his dreams are crushed for that weekend.
Right. $1,500 gone.
Yeah, instantly. And so he gets out of the car, and in his mind, he thinks he's following the proper safety protocol because he's not going in the path of other cars. Seemingly, it sure looks like he does.
Yeah.
But he's not quite. Like, obviously, when you're watching a video, the
Right.
perspective is off.
Right.
So then a couple cars pass him, and he's pointing and trying to wave down Tony Stewart. And so at this point, when he's pointing at Stewart's car, instead of veering left or putting the brakes on, Stewart hits the throttle and he veers right and strikes Ward, sending him flying through the air.
Damn.
About 30 feet. Some people say it was more, like 70 feet. And
all that seems pretty on purpose.
And then he drops to the ground lifeless. Now, from Tony Stewart's perspective, I was just talking about how Ward wanted to say, like, hey, you can't come here and treat me like that.
Yeah.
Well, in Stewart's mind, he's probably saying, like, you're just a young kid. Don't mess with me.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm the best. Like, you're not going to wave me down and embarrass me and tell me that I did something wrong.
Right. I'm going to hit you and kill you with my car.
To believe that, though, you'd have to believe that Tony Stewart knew what he was doing. Like, he knew what Kevin Ward Jr. was
why
up to.
wouldn't he know what he was doing? He's the one who wrecked him. What was he delivering him a pizza?
Well, the thing is, if he did know what he was doing, that makes it much worse. Because
how wouldn't he know what he was doing?
Because that means he did it on purpose to intimidate Kevin Ward.
Oh, you're talking about if Stewart knew what he was
exactly
doing.
Like
for himself.
There's two versions of this where Tony Stewart didn't know that Kevin Ward walked out of his car and just didn't see him.
Okay.
And that in that version, then he wouldn't have been trying to intimidate him or teach him a lesson.
Right.
Yeah. So
okay.
Just something to think about. Yeah, some people believe, like, did he deliberately wait until the last second to swerve in order to scare him, or was it just an accident?
Yeah, he could have been trying to scare him or like kick up the dirt to like cover him, like it's a puddle or something.
Well, yeah, there's a thing called stoning where it's throwing mud from the track at a competitor with your car.
Okay.
And again, just like the pointing and making a scene when someone cuts you off, this was a move that was done many, many times without incident. And I think it's time now we should watch the footage.
Yeah.
All right.
This is the footage that it was leaked that week, when it happened.
Yeah.
It went viral.
Yeah. Everybody's whipping around the track. There he goes. He clips him. Number 13's out of commission against the wall. And he gets out. He's not happy.
You can hear him yelling.
Oh, and then he gets dragged. Oh.
Tony Stewart just hit that guy, Alex.
Oh, my
Tony
God.
Stewart just hit that guy.
Oh, my God. He's like dead immediately.
Yeah. He got hit, stuck on, and dragged. The response team, that's amazingly quick.
Yeah.
Stewart parked. He's not getting out, though.
No.
Oh, my.
Sheesh.
Witnesses said it was like a scene from a horror movie.
Yeah.
Ward flew through the air almost cartoon-like. Didn't even look like a real person to them.
Right.
And a fellow driver named Jessica Zemkin said she couldn't think of any good reason why Stewart's car went right. And she stated that if he had kept going straight, as he had been doing, then Ward would not have been hit.
It also sounded like he accelerated a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, he definitely did.
Right.
But apparently that was an accident. And then here's another reason why it happened the way it happened. On these sprint cars, the right rear wheel has way less air than the other tires in order to make tighter turns. And so the effect is it's like a big rubber sponge. And so that tire pulled Ward into the path of the car when you saw him being dragged.
Yeah.
That's what did it.
Stewart did admit to hitting the throttle right before he hit him.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Yeah, he said he sped up as he attempted to turn to avoid hitting Ward, who approached while flailing his arms.
Which everybody answers with, well, you know that these cars veer right when you hit the throttle.
Oh,
yeah, they spin.
Yeah, they don't go left, they go right. So why would you do that?
Oof.
But now he's not like known for this style of racing.
No.
Either. So
not at all. This is under the radar.
Right.
He's going to race in a much bigger, high-profile NASCAR race the next day.
Oh,
the next
God.
day?
Yeah, the next day.
Why would you be doing this the day before a huge race?
Because it's fun.
So stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid.
He wanted to have an adrenaline push.
Jesus Christ.
I guess.
Yeah, the next day he was scheduled to race in the Cup Series Cheez-It 355.
It's a fun name.
Which is part of the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Okay.
And that was going to take place at Watkins Glen International in Dix, New York.
Wow, Cheez-It Dix.
What's better than that?
Nothing better. We're racing at the Dix for Cheez-Its.
When in Rome. Oh, boy.
Paramedics worked on Kevin Ward Jr. for about 20 minutes. Then he was taken to the hospital and pronounced dead on arrival. His cause of death was listed as massive blunt trauma. The local community was devastated because this is not a big town.
Yeah,
Right.
he's got a whole division of the sport that probably hates him now.
Yeah,
Immediately.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the outlaw country world, I bet. There's a lot of sneering at Tony Stewart.
That's not the best segment of the population I'd want to piss off.
Right.
No. Do you want to piss off Jesse James?
No, not even Robert Ford.
Well, he was a coward.
Oh.
Some listeners out there will get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Smelling what you're stepping in.
That's good. It's always good to just play to some of them.
It's pretty much what we do here.
God forbid. Everyone likes it. No.
Yeah, this is like the Tony Awards of the racing world.
Tony Stewart's statement to an investigator from the Ontario County Sheriff's Department went like this, quote, "We came around turn 2 under caution because the driver that stepped out of his car had crashed. When I came around turn 2, there was Chuck, another driver in the race. He was in the car in front of me, and the driver was running down the racetrack and almost ran into Chuck's car. And when Chuck went by, he was running at me because he was upset that I was the car next to him when he crashed." That's interesting wording there.
Yeah.
And he stepped right in front of the car, and I swerved. And then I felt my right rear tire make contact with him.
Ugh.
End quote.
Yikes.
His interview that night was short and sweet. Investigators later said he was very distraught, but other than that, showed no signs of impairment.
Well, I mean, that checks out, though. What do you want him to do? Start stuttering?
Well, you might want to take a drug test for the hell of it.
Yeah.
Why?
But no drug test was taken.
Well, if you kill someone with a car.
It's a race car.
Oh, boy.
Well, I don't know. Why would he take a drug test?
Because you want to see if he was impaired at the time of the collision.
All right.
We're talking about Tony Stewart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you think they're drug testing the dead guy, Kyle?
Well, they might have.
Who knows? I didn't know they were drug testing anyone.
You
It's
think
all
that-
new to me.
You think they're interviewing the deceased, Kyle?
Well, they could check to see if he was drunk,
Gee,
and
what
that's
is
why he had
this?
some brass balls to go out there jumping in front of cars.
Who said they're all drunk?
Well, Eddie, this is why you're not an investigator, Ben.
All right. I know.
Hey, let him go. Don't ask him questions and don't drug test him. And let's stomp all over the crime scene.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the victim, Kevin Ward Jr., would not have the same luxury that Tony Stewart had.
No.
When the toxicology report from the coroner's office came in, it showed that Ward tested positive for THC.
Oh, so they
no.
did. You were just. There's the twist.
So that raises the question, was Kevin Ward Jr. impaired?
Whatever.
But we'll never, here's the thing, Ben. We'll never know if Tony Stewart was impaired because they didn't test him. He might have been high too.
Everyone's just high.
Well,
That would be a whole nother kind of race.
That's outlaw
I would
racing.
I would watch that race. Everyone's super stoned. They're going 5 miles an hour.
but I have a question. When was the last time Kevin Ward smoked weed? That doesn't tell you
Of course.
that much anyway,
Yeah.
right?
If they're not telling you the levels.
His dad says that he had been with his son all day and didn't see him smoke anything. So there, settled.
Settled.
He could have smelled him smoking it.
Here, this will answer your question. Some studies suggest that THC levels rise substantially post-mortem.
Oh,
What?
So it's inaccurate.
Wow.
And they didn't draw his blood until 39 hours after the incident.
Okay.
What the-
So I don't know how accurate this THC narrative is.
I don't think it matters.
Yeah. Also, with the blood testing stuff, we had a story where a guy ate pre-workout and tested positive during the Wipeout episode. He tested positive for MDMA.
Yeah.
And that was just because of the pre-workout.
There you go.
You never know what could trigger certain tests, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But the media ran away with this piece of information because
Tony Stewart's lawyers probably were like, yes.
Thank
Yeah.
God.
Tony-
Turns out he's a fucking druggie, Tony. Don't worry.
yeah, the kid was portrayed as Cheech and Chong
Wow.
in one body.
Yeah, off Broadway.
Seriously.
So that night, Tony Stewart was flown out of town secretly without having to give the police any of his in-car recording equipment.
Just like RFK with Marilyn Monroe getting killed. He was flown out immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Just like that.
Exactly.
Holding on to his black box.
Right.
Hey.
And as I mentioned, Tony was rushing over to compete in the Cheez-It race.
Right.
But then he thought better of it. He
Right.
dropped
Probably
out
the best, yeah.
due to the tragedy, of course. And a man named Reagan Smith, I think that's a man, started in his place.
It's a man.
Okay, cool.
Danica Patrick was the first female, I believe.
Oh, wow. Look at the brains on Kyle. I didn't
Big
know you were such
brains
a
on Brad.
I didn't know you were such a NASCAR fan.
Yeah, I'm an asshole.
Yes, indeed.
Tony Stewart would return to racing later that month in Atlanta, and there he would hold a tearful press conference. Why don't we take a look at this?
Yeah, this has been one of the toughest tragedies I've ever had to deal with, both professionally and personally. And this is something that will definitely affect my life forever. This is a sadness and a pain that I hope no one ever has to experience in their life. That being said, I know that the pain on the morning that Kevin Ward's family and friends are experiencing is something that I can't possibly imagine. I want Kevin's father, Kevin Sr., and his mother, Pam, and his sisters, Christy and Kayla and Caitlin, to know that every day I'm thinking about them and praying for them. The racing community is a large family, as you guys know, and everyone's saddened with this tragedy.
Yeah.
That's sad, man.
Yeah.
Did he pay out?
Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sure he was very negatively affected. No matter what happened in the spur of the moment, you got time, the adrenaline goes away.
Yeah.
Start to sit there and think about it. You know, it's very sad.
Yeah, unless you're a complete sociopath. Of course
Right,
you're
which
gonna be
he's not.
affected.
I don't think he is.
No, he's
No.
not. He's just a hothead.
Yes. And I don't mean to portray him as a complete villain.
No.
Because you can tell even in that press conference, you can see the remorse. You
Yeah,
can
it
hear
sucks.
Yeah.
And I thought
I
it
mean,
was
all he
cool.
wanted to do was wing the guy.
Right.
You know, you just want to like take a toe or something. But then the guy died. And you're like,
Well,
God damn.
that would be considered negligent then.
Well,
Breeze him back a little bit. Hit the little be him a little bit.
That would
The
be
mud.
intentional negligence.
Oh, okay.
I also liked that he mentioned the family members by name. Sometimes in these situations, the lawyers advise them not even to bring it up.
Thoughts to their family.
Yeah. Like when Diddy was apologizing, he's not saying her name,
No.
for example. In September 2014, they started a grand jury investigation whether or not to take this to trial. And he was going to be charged with second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. So jurors listened to testimonies from other racers who were there that night. Tony Stewart's presence was requested, but he ultimately did not testify. He said, nah, I'm good.
It's probably for the best, honestly. That's his defense team.
Plead the fifth.
And after reviewing the evidence and listening to multiple witness testimonies, the grand jury declined to press charges.
Wow. It's crazy they have this on camera and they don't have Karen Reed on camera, but they're going to retry her for a second time. in Massachusetts for allegedly hitting someone with a car when he has dog bites all over his arms. It's a crazy thing.
Shoehorning in Karen Reed. Every conversation, he shoehorns in Karen
God.
Reed.
Just because she's from the
Free Karen Reed.
She's from your homeland doesn't mean you have to mention her all the time. He was talking about nassholes. How about massholes?
That's right.
The DA also cited the coroner's report as a reason for the decision. Quote, there is toxicology evidence in the case relating to Kevin Ward that actually indicated that at the time of operation, he was under the influence of marijuana.
Wow. So
See,
reefer madness.
Yeah, that's bullshit. Come on.
It is.
He was portrayed like, like he was Dennis Hopper from Easy Rider.
Right.
Come on. He may have smoked the day before. Who knows?
Who cares?
Well, up to 90 days it lasts in your system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also upstate New York weed in 2014. It was garbage.
And quite frankly, if he's not high, there's something wrong, I think.
Yeah, they got nothing else up there.
Stewart was cleared of any wrongdoing. He told the Associated Press that, quote, I know 100% in my heart and in my mind that I did not do anything wrong. This was 100% an accident.
Yeah, you got to say it out loud. I mean, you just have to say that. But, who knows?
I don't know if he believes it, but he's saying it.
He keeps saying 100%.
100%, 110%, actually.
I'm 100% sorry. And this 100% wasn't my fault. So Kevin Ward Sr. wrote a letter that was passed around on the internet. In this letter, he says, tell me how a man the size of Kevin can make a sprint car turn to the right on impact. Tell me how a lap before the incident, everything was fine, but the following lap was poor lighting. Tell me how a NASCAR star totally forgot what caution means. Maybe he should get a different headset so he is able to hear on the radio that the car in caution is up on high, so go low. Or was he low until he rounded the corner and saw Kevin Jr. standing up for himself?
Wow, so his dad's not like super happy.
Not at all.
Right.
Because like I said, there's two sides to this. Either Tony Stewart didn't see Kevin and accidentally hit him, or he saw Kevin and wanted to scare him and then accidentally hit him.
Right.
That's the version they believe happened. They don't think he did it intentionally, but they do think that he intentionally wanted to scare him.
Got you.
Which is why you would hit the throttle and expect to maybe... See, that doesn't make sense, though, from a pro, especially with that many years' experience.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense that you would take that risk to hit the throttle when you're that close to him.
We're talking the 1990 go-kart champion here. Yeah.
We're talking about the 1991 Midget of the Year, or Rookie, whatever that was.
Fantastic.
Peter Dinklage won that as well.
Yeah, good.
In a different league.
Go. Now you've done it.
This is just tragic. Listen to this. Kevin Ward Jr.'s on-again, off-again girlfriend surfaced about a month after his death and told his family that she's pregnant with his child.
Oh, my God.
So Kevin Ward Jr.'s parents are thrilled. It's emotional.
That is very sweet.
This is a nice legacy to leave, and they were really excited to have a grandkid.
Right.
Oh, no.
Then it turned out that she was lying. And
I mean, it's upstate New York. I mean, you saw that coming.
The baby belonged to someone else.
Jesus.
So while they're grieving, they got to deal with this wacko.
What a fucking dick. Oh, my God.
Tony Stewart retired from racing in 2016, and he remains a NASCAR team owner and TV analyst. On his retirement, he said, I just want to show up at the races, go to the shop, and hang out with the guys.
Well, there you go. I mean, the whole thing is so sad. Stupid, too. It's sad and stupid.
Yeah.
None of it should have happened.
Kevin Ward Jr.'s family feels that Stewart was never held accountable and that he should have served jail time. And they said it really hurts to see him out there enjoying his life when he should be in jail for manslaughter. And so that really annoys them.
Yeah, that grinds their gears.
Yeah. Oh, and then Pamela Ward, the mom, said, he's out there racing and enjoying his life every single weekend. That's something my son would love to be doing. but he's 6 feet in the ground because of Tony Stewart.
Oh, jeez. Well, don't let us know where he is.
Yeah.
And so you asked about whether whether Stewart took care of the Ward family.
Gotta give him at least $1,500.
I mean, that's the winning.
And
Team's going to win.
And the trophy.
Yeah.
The Ward family took him to civil court. And let's watch a little of the deposition from Tony Stewart when they ask him about whether he was trying to intimidate Kevin that night.
Ooh.
You didn't hit Kevin Ward Jr. on purpose?
Absolutely not.
You didn't try to slide a little bit, throw mud on him?
You can't throw mud on somebody when you haven't got to him. The mud from the tire would go behind you. So you can't throw mud forward, it would throw it backwards. And there wasn't any mud to throw in the first place.
So my answer to my question is no, you didn't do that?
No, not at all.
All right. Are you aware that sprint car racers do that sometimes or have done it?
Yeah.
And you agree that's a terrible idea, right?
I've been around sprint car racing a long time. It's part of the sport.
Right, but it's a bad idea, even though it's part of the sport.
I've never seen anybody get hurt by throwing mud at somebody.
Oh.
He still wants to throw the mud. All right.
Mudslingers.
All the leading there. You think that's a bad idea, right?
Yeah, that was probably his attorney being like, we're saying it's a bad idea.
It's kind of fun. It is pretty fun. Let me finish.
That was like when Ed Bradley was interviewing Michael Jackson on 60 Minutes, and he says, given the accusations and innuendo, you now feel that it's bad for an adult man to sleep with little boys, right? And then Michael goes, no, it's perfectly fine.
It's loving, it's love.
It's the easiest question to
I don't
answer.
criticize Michael Jackson.
Who's criticizing?
Yeah, I've had too many conversations go awry. You never know who defends the guy.
It's love.
It's been a great conversation. I was like, yeah, I just found my wife. And then all of a sudden I was like, Michael, what he did. And it was over.
Love can be messy. Let's listen to Kevin Ward's mom. She's all fired up.
I would be too.
We know that it wasn't a smart decision that Kevin made to get out on the track, to get out of his car. We acknowledge that. We know that.
True.
But I strongly feel like that shouldn't have cost him his life either.
Yeah. Also
when
true.
Tony did his slide job and I seen him spin and hit the wall, I immediately started down the stands. I wanted to go see him.
Oh, jeez. Showed it again.
Meantime, while I was going down the stands, that other lap occurred, and that's when he got hit. What cost him his life was the actions of Tony Stewart. Him moving up the track when he was being told to stay low and slow on the track, accelerating under a caution, sliding his car sideways, lifting his tires. Those are the actions that took my son's life.
Well, you got to be a little bit accountable, though, too. He did get out and run down the track. And
She said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
But he does get really close. He jumps in front of one car and then the other car swerves and then Tony's behind that car.
Right.
And that's what ends up taking him out. It's oof.
Well, I have a reason for that and an explanation from forensic engineers.
Okay.
But before we get to that, but first, a word from our sponsor. No, actually, I just wanted to tell you how the civil case ended.
Okay.
It was settled out of court in 2018 for an undisclosed sum.
Okay, so he did pay up a little bit.
Yes. And I don't think he ever said he didn't want to.
Right.
Right.
He really felt bad. And
the whole thing sucked.
Yeah, he wants to help the family.
Yeah.
So there was a documentary last year called The Hit about this incident. And they interview these forensic engineers that the Ward family met during their civil trial.
Okay.
And now they have compelling evidence that Kevin Ward Jr. was not in the line of fire on the track. Using a 3D animation sourced from more than 1 billion data points, their analysis clearly shows that Tony Stewart accelerated and, as they put it, fishtailed his car in the direction of a defenseless man.
Oh, jeez.
All right.
They studied multiple camera angles combined with those 3D scans, and their final determination was that Kevin Ward Jr. was on the high portion of the track and in a path that no vehicle should have ever been on. And here's a clip of that.
After he got out of his car, okay, he stayed rather high in the track. And if it weren't for Tony Stewart, this incident wouldn't have occurred.
Whoa.
He stopped, and his upper body moved away from Tony Stewart. He did not make a move into the vehicle. He kept walking, then he stood for a split second before impact, and upper body, not leg, upper body moved away from car when he was hit.
In the video that you will see, there are paths that demonstrate the paths of each of those vehicles that went by Kevin Ward prior to the accident. Kevin Ward never stepped beyond the path of those 6 vehicles. He never got in their way, so to speak. So,
I mean, he's not
it
that
isn't
high.
until Tony Stewart comes by, you see all these 6 paths,
Another
right?
marijuana joke?
And then
Yeah.
Tony Stewart makes a diagonal line straight through those other paths in the direction of Kevin Ward.
All right, so what do you think?
These reconstructionists are going after Tony, but they're saying he didn't go that high, but I mean, he didn't go that low, but he is more than halfway across the track.
He is, but you saw the tracks they made.
It doesn't matter.
He did not cross the line into the other tracks of the cars.
I'm going to say this. Wait until the race is over and then fist fight.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what
I agree. No, he shouldn't have gotten out of the car.
Just give it a wait, and then go punch Tony Stewart in the face and have some fun with it.
Duke it out in the lot.
But that does muddy the waters, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course.
Where it does show that Kevin Ward Jr. was thinking something. Like, he wasn't just recklessly going in front of the car. He was doing what he thought was a normal move that you do, for a show.
Right. No, I think it was 2 egos colliding in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
One ego with a car.
Yep.
Ugh.
So in the same documentary, the family shows Kevin Ward's room, and they left it untouched.
Oh, like sad. Ace Ventura.
Yes, it's exactly like that.
What a sports nut, huh?
And then the dad is standing in there, and he's like, yeah, I don't come in here very often.
I love that. I mean, kind of, but also, I don't know. I mean, hey, I don't know. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know how healthy it is.
Yeah,
I don't know how healthy it is. Yeah,
it's got to be tough to take the stuff down.
Right.
You gotta have somebody else, like when they do like hoarders, when they have the people come in and help you get rid of it. Not like they're hoarding, but you gotta have somebody else do it.
Yeah, you have to
You're
call
too attached.
Call TaskRabbit.
Yeah, get those college hunks that move jobs.
That would just rub it in.
Yeah,
all these shirtless guys come in taking his trophies.
Yeah. The hits don't stop for Tony Stewart. I don't know if you're going to cover this real quick.
Go ahead.
Last year, almost 9 years to the day, a 24-year-old woman who drove for Tony Stewart Racing died Friday. This is August 2023 after being ejected from the car which she was riding in on an Indiana highway.
Shut up.
Good Lord.
Alshay Albertson was a passenger in one of 2 vehicles involved in the incident, which happened around 11:30 a.m. northbound on Route 65 in Jackson County, about an hour south of Indianapolis. They said Albertson was a driver for Tony Stewart Racing, which was created by the 3-time NASCAR champion in 2000. Albertson was also a part of the All-Star Circuit of Champions, TQ Midgets, and last raced
watch your mouth.
in Indianapolis a week before her death. According to a state police post, 22-year-old was driving a Chevy Malibu in the right lane of I-65 on Friday, while the 31-year-old was traveling in the left lane in a GMC Terrain. Albertson was a passenger in the Terrain, and the evidence from the accident, which includes video, shows that 2 drivers began accelerating rapidly and refused to allow each other to pass.
Oh.
So the hits don't stop for the Tony Stewart team.
Wow. It's quite a body count at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Really? You got Brayton, his teammate in the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got Kevin Ward Jr. Let's not forget about Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not saying Tony Stewart was responsible for that, but
Now, Miss Albertson.
I'm sure his pileup didn't help.
Yeah.
I guess not. Yeah. Well, now we're just really throwing a lot on Tony Stewart.
But he seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Away from the cameras.
That brings us to
Final thoughts.
To kick off final thoughts, I just want to say that Stewart did found the Tony Stewart Foundation in 2003, which, helps out people that are
killed by him.
Accused accused of killing people while driving.
Drivers injured in motorsports activities.
Oh, wow.
Love it.
That's nice.
The Tony Stewart Foundation to help victims of Tony Stewart. And then as a result of the incident, NASCAR, the big guns at NASCAR, implemented a rule change requiring the drivers who are involved in an accident and are unable to drive their cars back to the pit or the garage must remain in their vehicles until emergency crews arrive, except, of course, if their car's on fire or something.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
So that's a good change.
Yeah.
The car's exploded. They're shoving them back in.
Right. Now you got to stay in it. There are rules.
Yeah. And then I have one final clip from Dan Patrick.
Okay.
This year.
Ooh, bringing it back up.
He brought it up with Tony Stewart.
He did?
He went
Wow.
I've heard Dan Patrick isn't a very nice guy.
Oh, no.
I've heard that.
Well,
we'll see.
Yeah, if I was Tony Stewart, I'd be like, can we just not, please? All right.
When did you know he had died?
I knew. So after we made contact, they have one-way radios that we run in, and they're screaming red on the radios, so everybody's to stop. And so I'm past them, and they're behind me, and I can't see what's going on. And the guy that was the series owner came up on a four-wheeler. I said, "Is he all right?" He goes, "It doesn't look very good. It's pretty bad." And so they pushed everybody off the racetrack, and I knew at that point it was really bad.
How do you move? You know, you still have to drive. How does that affect you as a driver?
There were so many moments outside the car when you weren't busy that you were always thinking about it. And you're always thinking about what if, and if I'd have been looking here, not there. It's a scenario that my most bitter, worst enemy in the world, I wouldn't want them to have to go through that. I wouldn't want anybody to have to go through that. You can't replace a life. If I'd have known that was going to be the outcome of that night, I'd have stayed in Watkins Glen and raced the cup race the next day and skipped that night of racing, because I was there to have fun. And then this happens.
See, Ben, that answers your question.
There
Why
you
was
go.
he doing that?
For fun.
He just wanted to have fun.
Yep. I'm going to go with my final thought. I'm going to show a little grace. I'm going to show grace here for Tony Stewart and for the families, everyone involved. I think it was an accident. It was horrible, super sad. And just be careful when your emotions are running wild. Maybe don't follow them so much. Try to take a couple of breaths. It all happened so quick, and now you got to live with it forever.
Yeah.
So it's very sad. But I have grace for the Stewarts and the family of the deceased. It's very sad. It just sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be careful when you're trying to intimidate anyone. Not saying that he was trying to, but maybe trying to throw a little dirt on him. And you got to realize you're driving a crazy piece of machinery that can murder someone very easily.
Well, murder's a legal term.
Be careful out there. End someone's life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was pretty obvious that he was trying to intimidate Kevin Ward Jr. And I feel for Tony Stewart, and I also feel for the Ward family. So I just say this is an unfortunate accident, really. And I don't necessarily think that Stewart should have gone to jail.
No, I think
I think if they got paid, great. Money doesn't change anything, obviously, but it's just a sad thing.
Money does change quite a bit, actually. It really does.
Okay.
Everything be like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness, and then it's been scientifically proven that it does.
Yeah, just people with money don't want you to think that it does.
Right.
That's true. A gold toilet would be pretty sweet.
Employers don't want to pay you more. That's the thing.
Right, yeah. No, you won't be. It'll make you sad.
You'll be miserable.
Yeah.
And so I want to say R.I.P. Kevin Ward Jr.
Yeah.
And Life Goes On, which is also the name of the TV show that Patti LuPone starred on alongside Corky in the 1990s.
Yeah, my buddy got to meet Corky. He went to Rocky Rococo's.
Oh, damn.
He was like the celebrity. He was in the suit, came up in a limo. My buddy has a picture with Corks.
Wow.
I didn't know Corky did a mall tour.
Corky was super famous, bro.
Yeah, he still is.
He was he was there for the Special Olympics. He was like the Grand Marshal or whatever.
Wow.
Yep, Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
I'm sorry I missed that.
Well, then.
Well, you weren't around.
Do you hear that?
You've got mail.
Oh, what do we have in the wild world of comments?
We have a nice one from Zombie Attention.
Oh.
Zombie Attention.
My serotonin boost is the title.
Oh.
I stumbled across this show, and I'm so glad I did. I love the true crime content with the niche of how insane the entertainment industry is. Hosts are hilarious, research is thorough, and I always find myself laughing along.
Very nice.
And then from superfan Mac, he commented on Susisode, the episode. He says, I was fully prepared to back Alejandro on the redundancy of Seussical the musical. But then he raved about Mike Myers, the Cat in the Hat, and I suddenly cringed at the thought of ever siding with him again.
Wow.
P.S. Great episode.
Yeah.
All right. Seussical the musical.
Yeah, really gets Alejandro going.
But then he admitted that he hadn't actually seen Cat in the Hat. So
Yeah, he was wrong.
there you go.
Great movie about a cat and a hat.
And then one of my favorite moments in it, Mike Myers coughs up some fur and he goes, hairball.
Kind of funny for Klemt's character.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can we talk? Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, what else we got, kids?
That's it.
Nothing. Ben Kissel channel. You can check me out doing that for a little bit. Ben Kissel 1 on Instagram. And that's about all I got going on.
Yeehaw.
Sweet. And until next week,
don't go dying on us.
Bye.
Bye.
You have just heard
A true Hollywood
Shocker. I have never seen anything like this before.
The movies, Broadway, music, television, all of it.
A place that manufactures
nightmares.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.
Good night. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon.